It's a big day in Madden today, a big shift today. The ability point change is here, and we're going to take a look at it, talk about some abilities you may want to be using, the ones you shouldn't be using. Let's get into it. Let's be great. Are you trying to build the best team in Madden? Well, head on over to instantmuckcoins.com to avoid the packs, save some racks. Link is in the description below. Use code CC now for 20% off. Hey, what is going on, Madden family? We are here talking ability point changes today. This is a really big thing that has happened here. It's something I've been waiting a long time. I don't know if you guys have been waiting a long time for it, but I've been waiting a long time for it. And I'm very happy that it is finally here. It took forever. Oh man, it needed to happen sooner than later. We finally got it. That's cool. And we're going to talk about this sort of in depth here. Let's just roll into it. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like for me. We're going to go over a lot of stuff here today. So bam, can I do this? I can do this. Cool. I am good at that. So offense and defense go from 12 to 15. Special teams goes from 2 to 3. Okay, cool. QB playmaker is now 10 for improvisers. Playmaker itself for halfbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends is now 6. Route tech got +1. One step ahead is now 6. Deep route KO went up 1. Medium route KO went up 1. Acrobat went up 1. Lurker went down 1 for linebackers. Lurker went up 1 for safeties. Inside stuff went down for linebackers. Outsiders went down for linebackers. Goal line stuff went down for linebackers. Edge threat elite went down as well. And then Forcer also went down for safeties and middle linebackers. Okay, we see that. Get it? Got it. Good. So we got 15 points now. Okay, which is really significant. It's going to be way more significant on current gen for you guys. Okay, way more. So many people have just been running one step aheads. Deep route KO, and obviously they used to be running bench press. Man, meta within the game sort of took over there. So you guys are going to have much more. And it's not just a defensive change for you guys. Now you don't have to have all these crazy wide receiver abilities to combat it. Right? Now you will still run into people who will run 2 or 1 step ahead players. It's going to happen, right? Man coverage is still a thing. It is still going to exist because it's still better than normal, right? It's an above average year for man coverage, just regardless, okay? So you're still going to see that. If you still wanted to have someone with a route tech or something like that, by all means you could. Now, it also means that playmaker is basically deemed too expensive in my eyes. It's just too expensive, unfortunately, but as was in playmaker was really good. So what you're going to want to do here is sort of start from scratch. And that is the best advice I can give you guys with your abilities and your ability points. Obviously, if you have a quarterback and you need hot route master, you need gunslinger, count those in, right? And then everything else, count it and wipe it away. Offensively, I think you're going to need more edge protectors, secure protectors, whatever it may be, because I think more and more people are going to be running defensive line abilities. Now, it's still something that a lot of people run, but if you want to be protecting against edge threats, let's take a look at the tackles here. We can talk about this better here, right? So edge protector is going to help you with edge threats. Okay, now on the outside for your tackles, there's a lot of things you could run in here, but secure protector is going to be the better move against double or nothings, but it is 2 AP, and running 2 secure protectors is 4. One of the biggest problems with offensive linemen is that you can't do so much with it, right? Like you're not going to swap your left and right tackles every play to go, oh well, his double or nothing is there, or his edge threat is here, right? You're not really going to do that. So for me personally, I always just go with edge protector and just take the 1 AP on each tackle and just roll with it. If there's a double or nothing or something we need to double team, by all means, bam, we'll double team. Okay. Additionally, on the guards, I still like to put up post up. Quarterback, you do what you want. Running backs, you do what you want. Wide receivers, you do what you want. It really is going to depend how you are utilizing that player. Again, if you are going to put an ability on a wide receiver, call it a mid, in, elite, deep, out, elite. Make sure you're putting that receiver in that position consistently on your offensive scheme. Okay? Yeah, if you're going to use ability points on a player, make sure they are on the field in the right position to use those points every single time you get the chance. You don't want to be using points otherwise, right? If you want to put matchup nightmare on a tight end, bam, you can do that, but make sure you are going to utilize that tight end correctly. Make sure you understand what that ability does. It helps you against linebackers or even sub linebackers in coverage. Great thing, but you got to know that, right? If you see that someone has an actual safety manned up on that linebacker, that matchup nightmare is not going to be as effective, okay? Keep that all in mind. Now we get to running back abilities. I think a lot of people will probably start to add some of these. These all basically stayed the same. You know, they're all pretty good for what they do. It's I don't love human joystick for 8 or however much it's going to be for those specific archetypes, by the way. But I think a lot of these things I really do like. Backlash, fatigue on non-conservative tackles. No, like the defense is never tired regardless, it feels like. So do what you want with the running backs, okay? I'm not even going to point you in a direction because that's more for the really heavy runners. I'm not a really heavy runner. I run the ball, but I'm not like that. Same thing with receivers, right? I generally don't use abilities on my receivers since I have Hot Route Master now. Otherwise, you could obviously do stuff, and it's going to depend on the archetype. If you want something specifically, make sure you use that archetype to maximize the AP, right? If you wanted, like, for some reason, like Chase Claypool, deep in elite is going to be 2 for him, right? It's not going to be 2 for everyone, right? So if you want to use that, make sure you are using the proper archetype. Real basic, real simple on offense. Now, defense is different. Now, as I was recording here, I just got a message. Is this true? Double or Nothing went to 4. Okay, all right, so that wasn't in their notes, but Double or Nothing went up to 4. Which to me, Double or Nothing is good. And this is like, it keeps changing. I don't know if I would be using Double or Nothing anymore. 4 is a lot. 4 is a lot. It's good. It is good. It's definitely good. But when we get to these other pass rush abilities and stuff, remember what you need to use and utilize correctly, okay? That is important. If you want to get inside stuff, make sure you're using a run stopper or a power rusher. If you want to get run stopper for the cheapest AP, make sure you're using that, right? Make sure you are maximizing it. Now, Acrobat is still really a good ability, right? Let's just, like, we can just say that outright. It is. I know it is. You know it is. We all know it is. Acrobat is still good. It doesn't activate all the time, but when it does, it is lethal for sure. Where Acrobat right here. It's still only 2 for corners. I think you're going to see a lot of Acrobat. Even though it went up 1, it's still only 2. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Right? Lurker on linebackers. We'll have to really test it out. Film study, I don't feel like is worth it. Otherwise, I'm not really going to be, I personally am not going to be putting anything on my corners. That's just me. Of safeties, I know there's a big discussion going around right now of what do you do with the safeties, right? Because they can get certain things. Now, he can't right here because he's just doesn't have the hit power. But the Enforcer Deflator combo is a thing I think you're going to see. Causing fumbles is dramatically game changing. It really, really is. So let's see here. Jamal Adams should get both, right? Deflator is going to be 2 for a run support, which isn't bad. An Enforcer is 2, so that's 4 AP. That's 4 AP. The guaranteed tackle after hit sticking, plus add in the fatigue. That fatigue is huge. If you guys remember, we never really thought about fatigue before this year. Not seriously, at least. Once bench press came into play and we saw how much fatigue really mattered, it's huge. When you think about fumbling, more often than not, you will fumble when players are tired. Right? Now, you will still have the occasional first carry of the game fumble or something along those lines, right? That happens. But a fumble is a completely game-changing play because when it comes to running the ball, there's normally no bad outcomes. Sure, a loss of yards, right? But it's not really a bad outcome, right? When you pass the ball, you can get sacked, which is a much greater loss of yards. You can fumble in the pocket, which happens more often than running back fumbles. Additionally, you can throw an interception, which is a turnover. you really only have one positive outcome there and really zero neutral outcomes. When you run the ball, you have one positive, one neutral, one negative, and that negative outcome of a fumble is really honestly rare. If you can force more fumbles against people who run, and this isn't just against runners, this is going to be people catching the ball, it's worth noting and worth looking at. And that is something I personally am going to take under my wing to try out this week and see if this is helpful. I will let you guys know. I will follow up on Deflator Enforcer combo and let you guys know if this really does feel like a thing to me. I think it's something we need to look at. Okay? With double or nothing going up, with one step ahead going up, not really options that I want to use. Now, I will say this, and I think people are still going to run one step ahead, and I don't blame them. And here's the exact reason why. And here's the reason why one step ahead was so prevalent before. Not just that it worked, but that it always worked. When we were putting abilities on these players, and if we can know that for 3 AP or for 6 AP, and now in this case, that ability is going to trigger every single time someone goes back to pass, you know you're getting a 100% effectiveness on it. It is going to trigger all the time. When you run pass rush abilities, when you run an inside stuff or stuff like that, it does not always trigger. It does not. Okay? Now, what you will need to determine is if that 6 AP is worth it to have that ability always trigger. For me, it's not. I just don't really like man coverage regardless. But that's where we need to see. Using your ability points to the best of your ability is key here. Make sure you're getting abilities that are going to be working as often as possible in the game. If something works for one and it always triggers, that's a pretty good ability. Even if it's not the best outcome with the ability of what it can or cannot do. Right? When you get something like Tip Drill or Pick Artist, I've seen people using those. Okay, that's cool, right? Maybe they can change the game, maybe they won't. But how many times are balls really batted up in the air? It's not that often. Pick Artist, are you really going to catch that many more picks with it? I don't know. The computer really, the problem isn't always dropped interceptions, it's swatted interceptions, okay? So keep stuff like that in mind. Additionally, we're going to roll on to special teams here. And because we now have the extra ability point here, like no one's using it on their punter. So now you're going to put both kicker abilities on, right? Clutch and focused. Makes sense. Even though I'll admit, I ain't seen nobody miss a nice kick this year, really. Like, it's super hard. But might as well, right? It's there. Just take the variable out, I guess, technically. So I'm just gonna have to make some changes to my team here, and I will be making changes. And as we go through the week and I play and test, we'll probably stream some, and we'll talk about abilities more in that case over on Twitch. Keep in mind, I think that this is going to be good for the game. How good? We don't know. We're gonna have to really find out. I've tested so many different combinations of abilities all year long, all the different pass rush abilities. I've tried to put all the manual pass rush abilities on players and see if they trigger otherwise. We've tried every sort of coverage, but we've tried basically everything except Deflator Enforcer combo. Legitimately. So that's where we're going to be this week. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this leads you in the right direction. Again, your best bet right now is to just take the abilities off of everyone, deactivate everyone at a minimum, right? And then start from scratch and say, okay, what can I do? Build it out, write it down, take notes, make sure you can get stuff done. Be great, take care. I love you guys, and I'm out. Peace.